Okay, what I need you to do is write these examples down on a piece of paper. So make sure you have a piece of paper. Okay, so we're talking about the distributive property. So it's called distributive property and it's very important for algebra. And it's pretty easy to do. The distributive property is when you have a number times a quantity. So 3 times x plus 2. And what you do is this means multiply or times, right? This is times. So you take 3 times x and you get 3x plus you take 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And you're finished because this one has a letter and this one doesn't. So they're different. So you're finished. You stop. You stop where you are. Let's try another one. If I have 4 times x minus 1. So I take 4 times x is 4x. I take 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. And it's going to be a minus because this is a minus. Let's try another one. 5 times 2x minus 3. So I take 5 times 2 is 10. X. 5 times 3 is 15. And it's a minus. If I have 2 times x minus 3, I take 2 times x is 2x. I take 2 times 3 is 6, and I have 1 minus, so it's a minus. And remember, you're finished because this one has a letter, this one doesn't. So you're finished. That's the answer. It's simplified. Sometimes they get a little bit harder if you have a negative. So here I have negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And then I have 3 times 1. 3 times 1 is 3. And I have two negatives. So a negative and a negative make this a positive. And if I do negative 3 times x plus 1, I'm going to multiply again. I get negative 3x. And when I multiply here, 3 times 1 is 3. But now you have one negative and a positive. So because there's one negative, my answer is minus 3. Okay? If I do negative 2 times negative 3x plus 1. So right here I have 2 times 3. I get 6x, and it's going to be positive because two negatives make it positive. And then here I have 2 times 1, which is 2. Then I look, I have a negative and a positive. So one negative makes it negative. All right. Some other things that can happen. Sometimes we write it backwards. Like I'll put x plus 2 and I'll put 4 on this side. So it's opposite. But you still do the same thing. You multiply 2 times. 4 times x is 4x plus 4 times 2 is 8. So it's the same thing. Some other things that happen, like if you have 3 times 2 plus 3x plus x squared. Now you have three numbers, 1, 2, 3, but you multiply. So you do this, 3 times 2, so that's 6. 3 times 3 is 9. X. 3 times x squared is going to be 3x squared. This one is finished. We cannot add. This is it. This is my answer. Okay, because we have x squared, x, and no x. One more thing with distributing that I want to show you is sometimes we have fractions. let's do 3x plus 1/2 x, or 1/2, no x. So 6 times 3 is 18x plus, now 6 times 1/2. What you do, the easiest way to do this is to take 6 times 1, which is 6. So I took 6 times 1, and then you divide by, this is divide, so divide by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I get 3. Okay, let's try another one with a fraction. 1/2 of 4x minus 6. So this one we're going to take 1 times 4, which is 4, divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2x. And then we're going to do the next one. We're going to take 1 times 6, which is 6. And then I have to divide by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then we have a positive and a negative. So that's one negative, so it's going to be minus. Okay? So what you're going to do now is you're going to practice the distributive property. You're going to go to Canvas, and you're going to open Canvas, and you're going to go to Modules and follow the directions for the assignment. Okay, you're going to use just the distributive property on the assignment, and then you have to submit your page when you're done. So make sure you submit your problems on Canvas.